My personal journey into human trafficking started almost 24 years ago as a 28-year-old mother, divorced with 3 children. Perhaps even earlier, as everything I've done in my life seems to have prepared me for the next step. In 1989, I joined the Lincoln, Nebraska Police Force and graduated from the Nebraska Law Enforcement Academy. During my 10 years as a police investigator, I specialized in child sex crimes and domestic violence. I was no stranger to evildoers and violence being perpetrated against women and children. In 1999, I would be heading off to Bosnia as an international police force task member. I certainly never expected to be terminated less than 2 years later and find myself in a foreign country fighting to save my reputation as a police officer and defend my integrity and honesty against a multi-billion-dollar United States private government contractor. Since that time, I've been standing in front of audiences around the globe describing my experiences within the United Nations mission. The film and the book have allowed me to share my findings and the stories of the victims in an effort to educate the naive and expose the injustices perpetuated both abroad and here in the United States, where injustices can only be described as a disease. This disease continues today and is destroying the very framework that was created to set the example of international law and justice. During my years as a UN human rights investigator, I observed many diverse and inexcusable acts. These acts included sexual harassment of female employees within the walls of the UN, government contractors and international aid workers who were becoming end users of pornography, strip clubs, and the facilitation of prostitution. I interviewed international police officers and international aid workers who admittedly purchased foreign women to keep at home as their girlfriends. I became aware of rape tapes being distributed by the Department of Defense contractors on military bases. I worked with Bosnian law enforcement officers who put their lives and jobs on the line when they reported cases of military and UN officials participating in the transport of young girls across international borders. I witnessed the inaction and dismissive behavior of UN officials on reports of sexual violence and sexual misconduct alleged against UN peacekeepers. I witnessed and experienced and lived the retaliation against those officials who tried to investigate and report. I listened to derogatory comments directed at the innocent who were referred to as whores of war and just prostitutes. Then I documented my findings in an email to mission officials in an attempt to educate and raise the awareness of the issue internally. I was immediately accused of being burned out, demoted, and then terminated a few months later as a final act of the United Nations and private contractor retaliation against me. A further attempt to discredit me as a police officer and honest person was brought forward when the government contractor alleged that I had falsified my timesheets. I took my employer DynCorp to task in a British employment tribunal and won my case in a unanimous decision.